coming to you live from Pontianak, or Kuntian, capital of the Indonesian province of West Kalimantan, founded first as a trading port in the island of Borneo. We are here today with the first and the only qualifiers, regional qualifiers for the Oceania/Rest of Asia region for TSL 9. I'm of course your host Yaku of Zaku, and with me today is La Barista Francesca que tiene muchas quesadillas. _VIP. How we doing, like?
What's up, Yaku? Yes, we are back. We are back with our second broadcast of the day. And as you were saying, there is only one qualifier for Oceania. I do want to apologize. Oh my god, as we're already popping off here. But I do want to apologize for the rocky start. It seems that there's an issue with the Australian Sydney Twitch server. I'm trying to switch over to another one. Hopefully it works out. Fingers crossed as we dive into this.
And I'm using perf. But yes, we are going to be diving straight on in to Data C, where over here in the top right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner, we have a blue Zerg player coming out from the land of the Philippines. Going for a pool first, as is tradition for the Juggernauts. He is EnDerr.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Data C ESL, we have the Australian Protoss player himself. He is red, representing the CranKy Ducklings, one of the best teams out there. It is StarDuck. And by the way, that was indeed a 12 pool.
Yes, I was about to say, I was about to apologize. I didn't quite get the same scale of it. I actually thought it was a 13-12 at first, but no, it was actually the fastest possible spawning pool you can get as a Zerg player.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. The links have finally been revealed. StarDuck was wasting a little bit of time at the natural base, hoping to try and deny and block that hatchery, but of course the hatchery was being delayed on purpose. Links are now coming across the map, and StarDuck now has to respond. Thankfully, you know, Data Speed, the wall isn't too awkward. He is walling off immediately, and he is chronoing out that Zealot.
Yeah, it shouldn't take too much for him to fully wall off here. Maybe a forge if he needs one, or potentially a second gateway. I'm looking at the minerals get up, and this should be fine.
Yeah, here we go. We have a secondary pylon here to fully wall off again. Not the most cleanest wall, and we do see that, oh, the Cybercore is actually looking pretty exposed.
Yeah, surprisingly, that's a lot of surface area that EnDerr can get. Right on top of that Cybercore, the Zealot is dancing back and forth really well. Oh, a couple links almost slip in, but the Zealots do prevent that.
Yeah, exactly. The buddy bouncer does come out. Backup has been called to
tag team.
Exactly. With two Zealots, there is more than enough here to deal with this. They have to be careful not to get surrounded, but even so, at least the Cybercore survives, and look at this, even both Zealots survive.
Both Zealots survive. Just about every single Zergling got taken out. And they're really getting basically no value from this 12 pool. The most you can really say is the Cybercore got softened up for later.
Yeah, he did force the second pylon on the low ground, to be fair, which means the tech has to be here on the low ground as well, so it is within vision of EnDerr. So again, there is some nice like kind of scouting here because of it. He also did force out two Zealots, but as we can see, StarDuck intends to make use of those Zealots. He needs to go across the map and try and get some value here. Already Lings are being banked up back at home. Thankfully, EnDerr wasn't too greedy and didn't drone up too much.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Zerg players just die immediately after the 12 pool because they just weren't prepared for the counterattack coming out from the Protoss player, especially from somebody who defends as immaculately as StarDuck.
Oh, exactly. You gotta respect the Zealots and the Adepts, and just like that, EnDerr, because of that, his drone count isn't doing too hot. To begin with, it was a 12 pool, but he was also forced to make a lot of Lings, forced to stay at home. StarDuck, interesting choice, doesn't throw away his Zealots. I think he recognizes, okay, he showed his hand. He's not going to try and force the issue. He's going to back off as well and try and get some other value with these units instead.
Yeah, no sense just throwing away the Zealots just like that. You know, a wise man once said, Zealots are only a waste if you waste them. He's going to be banking it up a little bit.
Who said that?
You know. Some guy.
They're gonna be like steel balls.
It believe it was a very handsome philosopher.
Okay. Meanwhile, really nice moves here from StarDuck, juking and jiving, not allowing himself to get surrounded. And meanwhile, Link Speed does kick in, but the Oracle rocks up as well. The Adepts don't take any hold damage whatsoever, but at least the Lings do force the Pulsar Beam to be activated here in the middle of the map.
Yeah, not as much energy to be used on drones and whatnot, but I have a feeling that EnDerr probably doesn't want to spend that energy on drones either. Yes, that's a lot of Lings being thrown across the map.
Oh yeah, here we go. More Lings are behind this. By the way, finally we do see a surround on these Adepts as well. StarDuck, I don't know if he can really hold on to this third base. He's going to try. The Oracle will definitely help out here. But, ooh, he didn't go for a second Oracle behind this. He went for a Phoenix instead.
Yeah, the Phoenix has a lot of work to do lifting up every single Ling.
Exactly. If there were two Oracles, then the second Oracle would be going ham on all these Lings. But StarDuck is being punished for his opener. This Nexus is going to die.
Yeah, Oracle completely out of energy. The Zealots trying to help out a little bit, but they immediately get surrounded. These are Speedlings after all. And I'm not entirely convinced. StarDuck, no! StarDuck has enough to hold on. He almost got the wall up, but these Lings were just a little too quick.
Yeah, exactly. The wall was not a wall. Workers are falling left and right. The second Oracle is doing whatever he can. But again, the Lings, they just split up and they're just forcing the attention elsewhere. A lot of probes are falling.
Yeah, just about 14. And bearing in mind, this is damage that EnDerr needs to get done right now. He's only now finishing up his third base. The last thing he wants is a Protoss player that's an even higher economy than him.
Yeah, and honestly, this is now EnDerr with a really great lead. He got a kill on the third base. He got 15 probe kills as well. Not just that, but also the Oracles are forced to stay at home. They can't be dealing any economic damage across the map either. So EnDerr, he is free to just drone.
Like so. It's already at that 50 mark point, which is honestly a little... Normally, that's about sufficient for mid-game Zerg players. I think that for EnDerr specifically, that might be a little much. Slowly, yeah, just making sure his economy and his macro is nice and stable in there as he transitions immediately into roaches from here.
Ooh, yeah, exactly. Roaches are now on the way. EnDerr fully saturated on those three bases. We have +1 range on the way as well. So, yeah, he's going to be able to hit a really strong Roach timing. The question is, can StarDuck survive it? Looking at his production, he doesn't have a Robo. He's going to be relying on gateway units and stasis traps, I guess. If he throws them down...
Yeah, and even then, I believe he only really has energy for 2 stasis wards, something like that. So he can cover 2 out of 3 of the openings to this third base.
Yeah, exactly.
You better hope EnDerr doesn't take the third opening.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, oh god, again, these Oracles have potential to buy StarDuck a little bit of time, but again, it all comes down to how good those stasis traps are. Unfortunately, he's going across the map instead, which means he doesn't see the army coming. He didn't see that the rocks have been dealt with. The roaches are coming across the map, and StarDuck isn't ready for this.
Well, all the speculating about stasis wards are kind of moot now. As they will not be thrown down. I do like that StarDuck went for Blink earlier on, but considering the supply lead that EnDerr has, I don't think StarDuck can warp in enough Stalkers to really make a difference.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he does have some sentries, does have force fields. Bearing in mind, we don't have any Ravagers with this army, so because of that, the engagement is going to be a little bit awkward here for EnDerr, but he takes down the pylon. At the same time, another Roach army is breaking into the wards of the natural base. Oh my god, this pylon goes down!
That, I mean, yeah, just about every single bit of production is taken out right now and neutralized for StarDuck. I want to say I can't even blame him because he did have double pylons there, but oof, he did concentrate a lot there. GG, EnDerr takes the game, number 1.
GG, well played. Very strong game there by EnDerr. What I will say is that StarDuck defended against the 12 pool very well. That was a very good response. It was just the follow-up Ling Flood that he wasn't ready for. And bearing in mind, these are Ling Floods that EnDerr is kind of known for.
Yeah, gonna get into a whole thing of, you know, pro Zerg players usually after the initial 12 pool, they tend to drone up a lot from there. They don't really go for a follow-up, but yeah, You're right. This is EnDerr we're talking about, and this is an EnDerr who StarDuck is fairly familiar with.
Exactly. So no excuses. I mean, going for this the Phoenix is really, it's really cute, and it can work well against like some other standard players. But again, clearly against something like a Link Flood, the Phoenix didn't really do too much. I think he got maybe an Overlord, maybe 2 Overlords at most. But we'll see if he can bounce back here, as we are going to be getting into game number 2. But the other exciting thing that we didn't really get to talk too much about is that, hey, more new maps.
Yeah, another tournament with the new map pool, even though hasn't been thrown to the ladder yet. We are just getting ready and getting prepared for the new season here, and you know, TSL, when it does roll around eventually in the next month, I believe it begins next month and it ends in September, from what I understand. Yeah, it is going to be using that new map pool, so might as well let the players get comfortable with him in the qualifiers as well.
Yeah, it's a great way to get used to all of this, and because of that, it does mean that, you know, some of these players may not have too much experience. We'll see kind of who appears a little bit more prepared. For example, EnDerr was messaging me before the tournament. He's like, hey, are we playing on the ladder maps? And I'm like, no, Bobby. He's like, oh.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a learning experience for him, as it's going to be, like you said, a experience for most people to be. I mean, it has been a couple of weeks, I suppose, since ESL first announced, hey, we're going to be using this pool in the EPT tournaments, but obviously not everybody has, gotten around to them yet. It hasn't been standard in a lot of tournaments yet, so yeah, now we're in the middle of that transition period.
Oof. We are, and I can't wait. I can't wait for the transition to finally be over. I want the new apps as soon as possible. I'm a little bit jealous that these players already get to taste them before us, as we are getting into game number 2. Ooh, one of the larger maps in the map pool, Tropical Scarface.
Yeah. Say hello to my little map.
One of these days you need to watch that movie, by the way. I don't think you've seen it.
I haven't seen the original.
God damn it.
But anyway, we are going to continue our series now on Tropical Sacrifice. We're here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We, of course, have a blue Zerg player coming down from the land of the Philippines. He, of course, is going to be representing Calibre. Actually, I don't know if he's in chat, but he is going to be representing the Juggernaut. He is EnDerr.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice ESL, we have the Australian Protoss player himself representing the CranKy Ducklings. He's one of our very own. It is StarDuck. And
basically the embodiment
of the duck. Of the duck.
Yeah.
I mean, what I will say is that StarDuck has a lot to live up to, because I don't know if you saw the results, but we were casting Sentimiento Latino earlier today, and Ryu did win that entire tournament, as he usually does.
He did, didn't he? Yeah. All the way from Italia, playing with that ping disadvantage. So yeah, that's always impressive whenever I see you win the Sentimientos or the Chopas.
Exactly. So we already had one CranKy Duckling champion today. Can we get another? That's kind of the big question here. What I will say, again, is that EnDerr this time didn't go for a 12 pool. More standard.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because he feels a little bit safer here on a larger map, or I don't know, maybe he just doesn't think Link Flood will be as effective. Well, I say that, but it's still possible that he's going to go for a Link Flood, just a little bit of a delayed one.
Yeah, this is a very fast third hatchery, by the way. Oh my god. I think he was thrown down at around 21 supply. Very early, a lot of lava to work with. So as you were saying, like this could just be for a Link Flood.
really could. This is a bit of an odd feature of this map now that I'm looking at it. Usually for Zerg, you think that the linear third base would be the safer one, and the triangular third would be a bit of a jumping off point. In this case, I feel like it's kind of the opposite. Look at how close that third base is to StarDuck's natural.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, the third base is closer when it comes to the rush distance. It's also more defensible because of the choke point here at the ramp, and the ramp as well towards the south. There are more entrances, I guess, but very, very defensible, I feel. So, well, when it comes to players that can make use of these ramps, like Terran players and Protoss with SimCity. Yeah, I agree. So we'll see. You know, it's always hard to predict what a player like EnDerr is going to do.
Yeah, even when he plays standard, he's a little odd.
They do call him EnDerr the Odd, mate. They do.
The Odge, now.
The Odge, exactly. Oh, God. Yeah, we'll see. So far, StarDuck, just like the previous game, is opening up with an Oracle. We'll see if he goes for the more standard triple Oracle, or if he tries to be a little bit quirky with those Phoenixes again.
Yeah, well, this time he is playing it a little safer, which, you know, he's gotten a little bit of a refresher. After game number 1, be like, oh, right, I'm playing against EnDerr. I need to make sure I can defend against the Lings specifically.
Pretty much, mate. Speaking of Lings, here we go. The Lings are going to be hitting this third base immediately. First Oracle is already moving out across the map, so it's probably going to have to come back home. We're going to see a kill here on this pylon. Adepts don't have the best SimCity here. They could get surrounded, and as I say that, they barely do not.
Yeah, fighting in choke point now, which is always nice to see, but the DPS from the Lings were a little bit much. And they're not quite able to get a lay on the third base, but yeah, it gets an adept. It's alright.
Yeah, that was honestly pretty good defense from StarDuck. He didn't bring his Oracle back home. He didn't waste any energy defending against Lings back at home either. So now he has the potential to deal some economic damage.
Yeah, a whole ton of potential here. A little bit limited by the Spore Crawlers, but he's got plenty of energy on these Oracles. They're in full health. He can tank a shot at 2. I'm getting worried. Okay. Micro was good enough.
Oh, yeah. In the end, he gets 5 drone kills. Ooh, has to be a little bit careful, but looks like he is on point with his control here. The Oracles do not go down to the Queens. 5 drones for shields and a little bit of damage. Yeah, not bad.
He's fine.
And now, this time, he can actually get his third up and running.
Yeah, slowly starting to saturate it down, and a bunch of Lings are coming in just before the sag defenses finish up. But again, this shouldn't be enough to kill that third. Maybe get a couple of probe kills? No, not even that.
Ooh. Yeah, exactly. Very quick to respond there was StarDuck. Did lose that shield battery, which, I mean, is something, but there we go. We do see the... Oh, God, never mind.
Oh, no!
It doesn't get up.
Not yet, anyway. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit delayed for now. I think a probe died, so still pretty good defense for StarDuck.
Yeah. I'm very impressed, to be honest, just because if you look at the units lost tab, StarDuck hasn't lost much at all. Oh my god, only a single probe this entire game, 1 adept, 1 pilot.
Yeah, 1-1-1.
1-1-1.
And now he's really starting to outgrow EnDerr, but here's what worries me, like EnDerr, he's hit 61 drones and he has stopped producing any more of them. A lot of roaches are coming down. The Lilu Constitution is almost done. +1 range is almost done. Does StarDuck have enough to defend from here?
That's the real question, right? Like, as you were saying, EnDerr is not droning, and StarDuck, I don't think he's necessarily realized that. He's working up and working towards a 4th base, which is really cool, but right now he needs an army more than anything, because roaches are going to be coming soon, and StarDuck needs to get eyes on this.
Well, he's going to have some pretty decently well upgraded stalkers, but how many gateways will he have to produce them? He does have a robo facility, so Immortals are out of the question. He does have that Stargate.
He does have the Stargate if he wanted to go into Void Rays. Here we go, the roaches are coming across the map. More roaches are being pumped out behind this as well. StarDuck in the middle of the map, a little bit out of position, to be honest. Thankfully, he does have a full wall off, so he will have plenty of time to respond. He can always recall if he needs to.
Yeah, though honestly, he may not need to for a while. There's plenty of damage he can get done with these stalkers. Before that can really happen. EnDerr as well, not having a lot of defense stuff.
Oh, exactly. Roach reinforcements are looking pretty good, but the Oracles do dive on top of the Queens. They kill every single Queen. Nothing else here shoots up. Looks like StarDuck can take this fight, but across the map, the Roaches do break through that wall.
They do break through that wall, but there are a couple of reinforcements being thrown down right now for StarDuck. Are we in base trait mode just yet? No, not just yet, as we do have a recall.
Yes, a little bit of a mistake here, because I don't know if you realize that shield battery that got cancelled was never remade. We didn't see a follow-up shield battery. Because of that, we do need to see a recall. There wasn't an overcharge available. StarDuck did at least force a cancel at that fourth.
Yeah, well, his own fourth was untouched. I spoke too soon. As Roach is now in position to really punish the fourth base of StarDuck. Not enough Roaches, though, to tackle all these stalkers.
Yeah, but EnDerr's not stopping. He just keeps rallying across the map.
Yeah.
He just wants to break StarDuck. He wants to finally find some damage. Again, 0 shield batteries here at the third base. The shield batteries were also killed here at the fourth. Hopefully StarDuck will replace them, because we need them if we want to defend.
And it just keeps going around and around, but I'm worried that he's trickling in a little too much at this point. His fourth base has been remade in the northern location, or is currently being remade in the northern location, but it's much, much later than StarDuck's own.
Yeah. Like, and look at the worker count. I think what's insane, not just the worker count, also that EnDerr, he just keeps sending Roaches across the map time and time and time again to hit both bases, and he's barely killed anything, like, worker-wise.
Yeah. I mean, well, like, again, he is kind of trickling in his Roaches a little bit too much. He's not bunching them together in that huge ball that you sometimes need when it comes to Roaches. He hasn't been any Raptors either.
Exactly, and mate, this is like 6 Overlords going down, by the way. A lot of Overlords do end up falling. EnDerr now supply blocked, heavily supply blocked at that. And StarDuck, now he has the momentum. He has the economy, now he can start being aggressive.
There's the economy, he has the upgrades, he has the army. Oh yeah, he is making full use of his stalker force.
Yeah, exactly. Ravagers are finally going to be coming in, and they're going to be able to zone out the army, but you know what? He just blinks on board. He doesn't even care.
Yeah, it's like, what are you going to do about all these biles? I'm just going to blink into you. Your army.
Exactly, and just like that, StarDuck, he cleans up the fourth base. He doesn't want to overextend. I appreciate that. You know, he just clears up as much creep as possible. He's rotating back around. He's re-walling off. There is that sack defense that we were talking about. Sure, we have a Baneling run by being set up, but mate, you can't get through this gateway wall.
Yeah, not with just Banelings. That's what I'll say. And especially now the Banelings get cancelled.
Ooh, yeah, they do get found out here.
That's rough, to say the least.
Yeah, the Banelings don't really do too much of anything. Meanwhile, massive Roach counterattack here towards the northern side. It looks like maybe StarDuck being a little bit too greedy with this fifth base. Fifth is going to be going down, but StarDuck, he can afford to lose the fifth. Again, we very rarely see a situation where the Protoss is up to 80 workers and the Zerg is down below 60.
Yeah, this is going to be a very inefficient mining operation for the Zerg player, but at the same time, does mean that EnDerr will have a higher army supply.
True.
If he maxes out. And that's a big gift, because again, he doesn't have a lot of workers.
You're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. Meanwhile, there was another little bit of a Baneling run by here at the fourth base. 7 probes did go down. This is damage that EnDerr needs to get done. He needs to do something to the economy of StarDuck before he gets out of control. Upgrades still on the way. More Stalkers being morphed in. Lings, they can do well against these Stalkers, but they only have +1. And, oh, they weren't able to get us around.
Yeah, +2 only now starting up currently for EnDerr. Fighting this army in the middle of the map, that's a thing that's good for EnDerr, but yeah, he doesn't have any anti-air, so the oracles are just raining hell from above.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the Oracles, they actually focus on every single one of these Ravagers as well. At the same time, bit of a Baneling run by here at the fourth base. 8 more probes go down. Could have been worse, but again, EnDerr has to deal damage. And you know what? That worker count, it's slowly getting closer and closer.
Yeah, on top of that, EnDerr has started to saturate that fourth base, or is starting to saturate that fourth base of his. Slowly catching back up. But if StarDuck ever realizes, hey, I have a better army, I have some momentum, then yeah, it's not going to be looking too good for EnDerr.
And that's the scary thing. StarDuck is close to maxing out. Like, he's 10 supply off of 200. Jesus Christ. And now here we go. He's trying to push in, but he may be forced all the way back home. EnDerr doing a great job at buying time.
He has to be very careful, though, with this army. If he buys a little too much time, then, well, he's going to be out of army.
Exactly. Banelings do crash into the middle line, but at the same time, we have a Zealot run by here across the map as well. Both players losing a lot of workers, but EnDerr loses his army.
GG is called, and StarDuck ties up the series sideways 1-1.
GG. Very impressive. Oh, yeah. Wait, once StarDuck was able to survive the early aggression of EnDerr, man, he got going. He didn't stop.
He just kept going, yeah. He just kept going and he didn't stop going.
Rip 2K atmospheres.
Yeah. I agree.
But that was really well played there in the end by StarDuck to tie up the series. But now we are moving on to the ace match. And which way is this going to go? That is kind of the big question here. How is EnDerr going
right way?
Yeah. How is EnDerr going to approach this? And what map are we going to end up on?
2K atmospheres is my prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not really my prediction. It's my wish. But,
oh boy.
You know.
We'll see. We'll see how far he can go. As it looks like the players are setting up the lobbies. And, ooh, it looks like our map has been decided.
It has. It's a decider.
Okay. I was hoping for something a little bit more crazier, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Cosmic Sapphire.
It's just not crazy enough for you, like, with the gold base over there in the bottom left. Well, I gotta see one of them take it. You know this.
I think that's the crazy thing about this map pool is that Cosmic Sapphire is like the larger macro map, but even like the macro map has a gold as well. Like, and there are like other like quirky things about it. So it's like
that makes it gold square. Oh wait, that makes it macro squared.
Yeah, like there's like a little bit of spice there. Like it isn't boring like a I don't know like a Eternal Empire or a Glittering Ashes. You know, it isn't just big.
Yeah, it's like vanilla, but with some, you know, nuts.
Yeah, like some chocolate chips, you know?
Yeah.
I want some ice cream.
It's hot.
Oh,
it's very hot.
How hot is it in? It's weird because here it's cold. Here it's been like raining like every day.
It is 33 degrees.
Ooh. Take care, puppy. Take care.
As we continue and conclude our best of 3 series here on Cosmic Sapphire, we're in the bottom right hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right hand corner. We have the Blues player not going for the gold immediately, but going for 12 Fool instead with that little larva trick. Representing the Juggernauts, he is Odd, he is EnDerr.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire ESL, we have the Australian Protoss player himself. He is red, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is StarDuck.
Getting 12 pooled.
Oh boy, oh boy. Here we go. It is going to be that 12 pool. So I have to wonder how much experience EnDerr has on this map, because specifically this map, other than having a gold base, also has a very narrow entry into the natural.
Yeah, it really shouldn't take too much for StarDuck to, you know, wall that off and, like he did on Data C, have that immaculate defense once again, especially now that he scouted it. Cosmic Sapphire, like you were saying, not only has narrow entrances into the natural base, also has a very winding, large rush path as well. It's gonna take a while for slowlings to get across the map.
Yeah, I'm not convinced, but we'll see if EnDerr can get some damage done here. Like we saw on Data C that we needed even a secondary pylon to fully wall off, and we saw how exposed the Cybercore was on Data C. Here, 2 buildings and 1 unit is all you need to get that full wall off. We do see though that StarDuck still has to be careful with his control. He still has to make sure he doesn't get surrounded.
And I like this for StarDuck as well. He is still playing it out safe. He's still going for that second Zealot instead of, you know, waiting for the Cybercore to finish up and then trying to rush out an Adept. 2 Zealots, you get a lot more freedom, but you also get a lot more potential to be surrounded like so. More lings are starting to make their way across the map. It's getting close, but I think StarDuck should just about be able to hold. Doesn't lose a single unit.
That Zelt was one shot away from being taken down, mate. But StarDuck keeps everything alive. He defends beautifully. He doesn't have to throw down his second pylon here at the natural. He can throw it down here in the main, so he can keep his tech hidden as well. Great defense so far by StarDuck. Questionable 12 pull here by EnDerr, specifically just because of the map.
Let's see, that's why StarDuck wasn't expecting it.
True.
Which is why he scouted.
Exactly. Meanwhile, we actually have more links coming across the map as well. They're going to get some probe kills here. What's important? Oh my god, can they get the gateway? Oh my god. Oh my god.
They may be able to get the gateway, but not before the soccer comes out, like so.
Yeah, but you know what? Because those links were across the map, they're not here back at home. We have more links on the way for EnDerr, by the way. He hasn't really been droning up at all. Can StarDuck get a snipe on one of these queens? He's trying.
And almost succeeding, but not quite. Good defense on the drones, immediately turning them into a building. One queen goes down. Worth it.
Yeah, and now the Adept is actually wreaking havoc here in the main base. 2 drones, maybe okay, not a 3rd drone, but some nice counter damage. Bearing in mind though that EnDerr did make a wave of links behind this, so he still has links active out on the map.
Yeah, what's the wall looking like right now for StarDuck? Because he just threw down a Stargate.
Oh, he did throw down a Stargate. The first Oracle here has to be careful. Thankfully for StarDuck, link speed is still a ways off, so this Stalker shouldn't really get surrounded, depending on how good the micro is.
Well, the micro's pretty good from this side of StarDuck. A couple of links slip on in, but nowhere near enough to really cause any crises over in the mineral lines. Just, yeah, going in for a full scout.
They will get 1 probe, so they get something, and they fully scout that the fact that we do have a Stargate opening here. Oracle is going to be on the way. So yeah, after all said and done, I will say that StarDuck is looking in a better position here. EnDerr invested a lot in all those links, and he did get some probe damage, but I don't think enough to really justify it.
Yeah, just barely. And he's still going to try to make use of these Zerglings. He's still making a couple more. Yeah, doing what a Zerg player in this position does best, and just try to apply pressure on the Oh, wow! Ooh. That was a good cancel of units.
That really was. And as you were saying, EnDerr is making a massive flood of links behind this. He wants to force a cancel at this 3rd base, and I really worry here for StarDuck. He does have another Oracle on the way, which is good, but is it going to be out in time? Because those links, mate, they want that 3rd.
They want that 3rd, and they're about to get that 3rd.
Yeah, especially if StarDuck isn't too careful. He is rushing back home. He finally has eyes on the 3rd base. That's a late 3rd, by the way, a very late 3rd. And the links, they get a full surround on the Stalker. Oh.
Yeah, that was the main defense here from the side of StarDuck. EnDerr, okay, being chased away by the Oracle and a couple more Stalkers as well. Doesn't really have enough links here to waste the Oracle's energy and then kill that 3rd base, or at least that's what he's thinking.
Yeah, but he gets a surround on the Stalkers. The Oracles, they can't help out, Buffy. The Lings, they kill the Stalkers and the Adept, and now they're going to be wreaking havoc on top of this 3rd base. The Oracles need a little bit more time. There we go. Pulsar Beam does get activated. StarDuck barely holding on here, but it's costing him a lot.
Yeah, EnDerr has surprisingly traded very efficiently when it comes to the Lings versus Gateway units. You can get a couple probes here and there, but I think that's just about gotta be the end of that now that the Adepts are in choke point.
Hey, as you say that, another wave of links gets made. EnDerr.
Yeah, +1 starts as well. It's like, yeah.
And he just, he's non-stop ling aggression. It's crazy. This is cutting into his worker count because that his drones aren't very high, but this is all going to be worth it if he manages to break through, and if he does, you know, break into the 3rd. I don't think he will, but if.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna try maybe break into the natural. Not if that soccer has anything to say about that.
Oh, exactly. His boys rock up as well. We have more gateways behind this. StarDuck did open up double Oracle straight into Blink. So a little bit more greedy here, not going for the 3rd Oracle, but gonna be relying on those Blink Stalkers nonetheless. And EnDerr, these Lings haven't done enough. Not yet, but he's not stopping. 10 more Lings in production to add on to this massive swarm that he already has.
Yeah, these Lings haven't done much yet, but what about these Lings? What about these Banelings? He has the option of getting now that the Baneling nest is finished up.
Oh, exactly. It did just finish up here at the natural. So Ling Bane is going to be the name of the game here for EnDerr. And because of his aggression, he is forcing StarDuck to stay at home.
26 more lanes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And +1's about to finish.
Yeah, this is very committed, and this could deal a lot of damage. A couple of adepts have been caught out here towards the top right-hand side of the map as well. StarDuck, I worry for him. He does have a shield battery at least, and he's getting a couple of buildings to help out when it comes to the service area. Charge is on the way, but it's not ready for this. And EnDerr's coming. He's done.
Yeah, and even still, what would Charge do against Banelings?
I love this setup as well, right? Like, the Lings, they're dealing with all these rocks. They want to get rid of that winding path. They want to make sure that the reinforcements, they can get across the map as soon as possible.
Yeah, they could just go zoom instead of zoom, swerve, swerve, zoom.
To the moon.
Yeah. In June.
Oh, and I don't know if this is the best move here for StarDuck. He's moving out, and we all know that the strongest unit against Stalkers are Lings, especially when you have enough Lings to get a full surround.
Yeah, you can try to blink away, but Lings are quick enough to pretty much neutralize that blink. EnDerr going around, though. It's kind of calling StarDuck's bluff.
Yeah, StarDuck backed off for a moment, but here we go. The Lings are going to rock up here. They do reveal themselves. Oh my god! Oh, for a second, he wasn't on hold position, but StarDuck is turning around. He's trying to catch these Lings.
But who is catching whomps is the real question, as EnDerr gets a full surround on top of every single one of these Stalkers. They blink away, and they get quite a number of volleys on top of these Lings. Pretty good, but yeah, the Oracles are starting to get dealt with by the Queens. A little bit of a move command here from StarDuck.
Yeah, exactly. We need these Oracles so badly. The Queens are trying to break them down, but you know what? The Queens expose themselves. Every single Queen does end up falling. Charge is done. Now we have Zealots to help buffer and help keep these Stalkers alive and stop them from getting surrounded.
Yeah, Banelings only now starting to be made, and if these Banelings can connect with even the Stalkers, it's going to be great.
Oh my god, I love the aggressive blink on forward as well. Banelings do not trade efficiently at all against Stalkers. They wanted the Zealots, but GG gets called and StarDuck does it. He fights back and he takes the series.
2-1. That's what you get for not practicing the new maps.
True, that's what I get for forcing StarDuck to play on the new maps.
Yeah.
Oh my god, GG, well played. StarDuck, he does take the series. He does move on here in the bracket to the next round. Against someone who historically has his number. If you remember, we've casted these two play before. I think it was in the DreamHack qualifiers where EnDerr qualified over StarDuck.
Yeah, just barely. In the end there, but I will say this, Duca Libre, even though he's not in the chat, do not fret, as there is a lower bracket today. The rules can get a little bit confusing in larger brackets, you know, single limb up to round 16, double limb from then on, but today we have 9 players, so yeah, ignore all of that and just understand that it is a double elimination bracket today.
Oh yeah, yeah. It is going to be that double elim bracket. Plenty of chances here to advance forward. And I'm just really excited to see StarDuck doing well. It's great to see him execute his build well as well. There were a couple of moments where he faltered. Again, I questioned the Phoenix in game 2.
Yeah.
Or in game 1, sorry. I questioned that Phoenix a lot. I don't know, maybe that was a misclick or maybe it was intentional. But
it's gonna lift everything.
Yeah. All the links. Outside of that first game though, like, yeah, that was really well executed by StarDuck.
Yeah. Really good. Even in that game #1, you know, it was a real good defense coming up from him, a real good SimCity as well. He just wasn't anticipating the follow-up Ling flood, but once he kind of warmed up a little bit, once he got his bearings, wasn't too much trouble for him to just defend and win from there.